morning, everybody. Thanks for joining me as we take a look at your weekend forecast for February 4th through February 6th, which obviously will focus highly on what's going on today, as today is the only really, well, not the only, but today is the interesting weather day. The rest of the weekend is relatively quiet. We just have temperatures to talk about. Basically, no precipitation after today. Although, as the pattern does continue to be pretty active, we'll have to see what happens next week. But for now, we do quiet down after today. And the forecast, we're going to focus heavily right now on Windham and Bennington County, because that's where the transition is going to happen as we head into the forecast. If you're in Rutland County and in Windsor County, particularly the northern 2/3 of Windsor County and basically most of Rutland County, you're all snow. You're going to stay all snow, and so the forecast is just stay safe out there. There are some power outages. We're going to talk about those. Hopefully, any freezing rain is changing to sleet at this point, and then it will change to snow. That should put an end to the increase in power outages. But if you're out of power, hopefully you get it back. So look at what's going on here. Oops. Before we get to that, here we go. We're going to talk about radar here. This is much more bullish. It shows snow all the way to the Vermont border. That is not the case. I'm still sleet here in South Londonderry. And looking at traffic cams recently, it looks like mostly sleet everywhere south of me, and most places even to the west of the greens are sleet as well. Although we will probably be changing to snow. We are starting to drag some colder air in at the mid-levels, which is what needs to happen in order for snow to happen. This area of low pressure, and this is analyzed from a few hours ago, it continues to ride along the front. What's going to happen is this starts to head to our east. It will drag in at the mid-levels some colder air, which is going to kind of erode the warm nose, which has kept us as sleet here. And if we take a look at the surfaces, this has been happening all night. Particularly, you can see how just along in the valley there, along the Route 7 corridor, cold air has been draining down all night, which is why some of those places that stayed rain all night, it was freezing rain, and they have had some issues with power lines and things like that. To the east of the greens, not nearly as bad, although there's been a little bit of that kind of as you head down into Brattleboro and kind of along the West River Valley as well. Some cold air has seeped down in, but not nearly as cold, although we are starting to crash some temperatures where we're dropping down into the low 20s kind of here across northern Windham County. I'm not showing you, I know for those of you who are up in Rutland and Windsor counties to the north of this, you're just all snow. You're still very cold. You're going to get probably 2 to 4 more inches of snow on top of what you got to top you off over a foot for a lot of those places. But it's really the changing weather happens here across our southern 2 counties here in Vermont. In terms of power outages, as you can see, most of them are in kind of that Route 7 corridor. The red towns have at least 500 power outages apiece. So Manchester had a lot last night, although they've improved. So I'm guessing Manchester changed to sleet at some point, but it looks like still freezing rain in Arlington, Sunderland, Bennington, and down in Pownell as issues. And it does, numbers have been creeping up in like Dummerston and I think Newfane as well have been creeping up a little bit. So probably still freezing rain in those spots. So if you're in those areas, if it's still freezing rain, just hopefully you're probably not seeing what's going on because you probably don't have power. Let's take a look at the wider view as we start talking about the rest of the weekend forecast. We still have a long ways to go with the storm. It gets lighter after this wave moves through, which is where most of our accumulating snow for the southern 2 counties is going to happen. But there's still a pretty good section here. We still do have one more wave of low pressure, which may enhance our snowfall rates. I think accumulating snow could happen through noon or a little bit into the early afternoon before we change to just some light snow, which should happen. Light snow probably continues on through most of the afternoon into the early evening. So travel will probably be tough all day. It'll get better as it goes, but probably be tough pretty much all day. If you can avoid travel all day, that would be good. In terms of temperatures, too, you can see here's our air, which is coming in. We're going to get a reinforcing shot of cold air. We're not going to get these crazy 20, 30 below zero temperatures we're getting across Canada, any of that. We've had plenty of that kind of weather here lately, but none of that. But it is going to be cold, particularly for Saturday, and then we do start to warm up relatively quickly. This area of low pressure here is very weak and has basically no moisture associated with it. It will be approaching us by Sunday afternoon, but I don't even think it'll be really giving us any clouds until maybe overnight Sunday into Monday. There is a storm for early next week that I think is going to go out to sea. Looks almost certainly like it's going to go out to sea. There have been a few hints that maybe not. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. But I think for the most part, our weather pattern gets pretty quiet here for at least a few days after this storm rolls through. let's take a look at your weekend forecast. Becoming snow, 21 degrees. I mean, obviously, some of you are already warmer than this, but basically, our temperatures will be going down. That's sort of the theme for the day. Whatever you have out there now is probably your high temperature for the day. And so a lot of us will be in the single numbers by this evening. Overnight, the clouds keep us from going real cold, but we're about zero. Some places will be below zero. Some places a little bit above zero with that cloud and a little bit of a breeze, although not much. Tomorrow's a cold day. The breeze, there'll be a little bit of a breeze, but not a ton of wind. So a high of 17. It's a good ski day, particularly for probably Okemo and Killington. Really good with powder. And even some of the ski areas around, even most of the ski areas should do okay out of this. It's not a great powder. Unfortunately, the snow that falls on top will be nice and powdery. So you have a couple inches of powder on top of the junk. So there you go. Cold overnight Saturday, probably averaging about 8 below. Some places will get probably as cold as about 15 below. So cold night Saturday night. Not quite as cold as we've been a couple times, but plenty cold. Then we'll be 25 on Sunday as we do start to warm up a little bit, and we keep those, I think, basically clear skies even overnight, Sunday into Monday, as we do warm up a little bit, as that next system will actually usher in some slightly warmer air as we head towards Monday. Low temperature of only about 10 degrees. Your outdoor activities forecast looks like this. Any mixed precipitation changes to snow. Moderate to heavy in the morning, and then light to moderate early afternoon, late afternoon travel is going to be difficult. If you can get to the mountains, if you can get to Killington today, great powder day. If you can get to Okemo, probably a pretty good powder day. Everybody else, sleet early. It will get better as the skiing day goes on. You will have some fresh tracks as you head on. Great ski day tomorrow. Seasonably cold, so you want to bundle up, but not too crazy a wind, so no wind holds and things like that. Just want to bundle up tomorrow. And a great bluebird ski day on Sunday. Sunday should be a really nice ski day. So overall, okay forecast. I know today's been rough. Hopefully, if you don't have power, it comes back quick. It looks like Green Mountain has been jumping on that as the numbers bounce up and down. Hopefully, the freezing rain is coming to an end, so that'll keep anything from getting too bad in some of those spots. But certainly hope that for those of you who don't have power, you would get it back soon. Otherwise, for the rest of us, try to be careful if you have to get out there on the roads today. It's going to be very slippery. And also try to be careful, especially if you're shoveling sleet. 2 inches of sleet is like 2 feet of snow in a lot of ways. And so it's brutal to shovel. So hopefully take it easy, go slow, and make sure that you're keeping your heart rate where it needs to be. Other than that, thanks for joining me. Thanks. If you haven't subscribed to my channel before and you want to make sure you get these forecasts, I would encourage you to do that. And I wanted to give a huge shout out to my new patrons and all my patrons who've been supporting me. Some of you for as much as a couple of years, and then some of you who have just jumped on board recently. But you really help and support the channel. It's making a big difference. And so thanks to you. And we will be back on Monday with a look at your work week forecast.